They want this big, massive world that looks great to play. Please change the hacking mechanics from pressing a single button. The Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
I
don't think he'd get through it, mate.
I don't, mate. I'm on the edge. I've got goosebumps.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Are Error episode 4. This week, I am still joined by Nathan Gillybeard and Sam Gustin.
Yo.
And, for this episode, we have another news roundup. Maybe we'll talk about the Ubisoft conference and any rumors flying about there. And we're also going to be looking at the second generation of consoles and giving our thoughts and our opinions on how that was. So to get
back in the day.
So I'll get started with it. Ubisoft conference is going to be happening soon. To be specific, it's going to be happening 5 days after this episode.
Unfortunately, we fucked up.
IGN fucked up, but
true.
Some rumors flying about it. So actually, start with, what do you guys want to see at this conference? What do you want to see Ubisoft come out with?
Well, I'm looking forward to Valhalla, to be honest. I haven't looked forward to an Assassin's Creed game for a very long time, and after watching Vikings, I'm quite excited for it, to be honest.
I want another Splinter Cell.
Another Splinter Cell?
That would be an interesting game. We haven't seen Splinter Cell for quite
We haven't seen Sam for a while.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's seriously been like 360 days, right?
Oh, like, mate, Splinter Cell, yeah. Completely forgot about that.
That would be an interesting one to see.
Yeah. It's the better of the stealth games out of Hitman and that. Like,
there is quite a gap in the marketplace now, because there's not like when Splinter Cell was coming out, there was a lot of silenced pistols, stealth games.
No competitors with that.
Really, not really anymore.
What's that?
Like when Splinter Cell was getting released, there was a lot of silencer gun stealth games, but they don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
We do have a couple of stealth games, but a lot of them are going back to like knives and daggers and stuff like that. So stuff like Dishonored, Deathloop. So Deathloop has guns, right? Deathloop definitely has guns, because he's getting sniped in the trailer. Yeah, but Splinter Cell definitely has more of a gap now to really.
Yeah, definitely.
And it'd be nice to see them with the improvements that's come from tech. I would be excited for a Splinter Cell game.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh my goodness.
If we could get some news about that game, that would be nice. All we've seen is a cinematic trailer.
So good.
That original game was so good.
I definitely want to see stuff for that. I personally, the game I want to see is Rainbow Six Quarantine. I want to see what this new Rainbow Six is, because there's so much potential.
I haven't heard much about that, to be honest.
Yeah, same. But it's like there's so much potential, because Rainbow Six Siege has performed so well.
Has it gone down? Is it going down the Siege route? Is it going to be exactly the same as Siege, but just better?
We don't know anything about it. We just know the name of Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't know anything about it.
Sort of. I don't know. It was just speculation there.
Another Tom Clancy game. Another Tom is Elite Summit.
There's Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Oh well.
But no one wants to see that. Well, that's if you imagine The Division, but on relaunch.
It's
an open world. It's an open world with nothing in it.
I quite liked Division Me when it came out.
I'd play it now.
So anyway, guys, that was We Are. I don't know these people, I swear. But no one wants to see that. There's a potential for seeing new Watch Dogs Legion news and seeing what comes out of that.
Apparently, that's free to play.
I haven't heard a whole lot.
That's going to be just free game.
What, the Legion?
The new Watch Dogs, yeah.
I haven't heard a whole lot about Watch Dogs Legion.
Have you ever played any of the Watch Dogs? Either of you two?
I haven't. I've seen it being played, and I like I do like the concept of.
I played the first one, and it was a good concept.
I think the Watch Dogs series so far has just been like a wasted potential. Is like the best way to summarize it. because it's such a cool concept. It just needs a spark to light. Because there's like I know a lot of people are getting really excited for this like play as anybody like mechanic. So maybe that will be the spark to finally light this game series. Otherwise, if Watch Dogs Legions isn't a success, I worry that they won't make another Watch Dogs games, which would be a shame because there's so much potential behind the idea of like GTA but hacking.
Yeah,
there's so much.
It was a really good. Yeah, it's a really good concept. It's just I don't know. Is that all it's got to offer? You know.
For me, it just seemed like a GTA sort of sandboxy game with that added, like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the only aspect it had that was unique to its game.
Not like, and they fucked up with the trailers the first time. Do you remember that when there was like showing?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it's going to look like, and then the game came out. It was like 10 times.
And I remember it was
in
the first game.
In their defense, that wasn't necessarily their fault. That's genuinely what they were going for. But because the PlayStation 4 was new at the time, they didn't know the limitations of it. So therefore, they were showing something they wanted, but wasn't capable of doing. But that's not. They get a lot of slack for it, but it's not really their fault. It's more of a case of they want it to be good. That's what it shows me, at least. That's what they want, this big massive world that looks great to play. Please change the hacking mechanics for pressing a single button. Yeah, it's so boring.
I think it had quite a lot of quick time events as well, like in that game, like in like car chases and stuff. It was like it would lock onto like I don't know bolsters in the road, and you wouldn't have to do all like you said. You just have to press one button, and it would happen.
Yeah, I don't like that though.
No, I don't know. That's what I mean. It's it's very simple, like mechanic.
It's fine. It's fine for like while you're driving, you can like change the traffic lights with a single button press or something. But when you're like, doing missions, the missions shouldn't all have the same like hacking. It's boring. It's like user in chat McSchool sums up perfectly. They liked it when it first dropped, but after those first few hours, it wasn't fun. It loses you. Like it's fun first, but then it's just so repetitive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because
it could really evolve and build on the hacking mechanic. They have something, but it just needs to
feel complete.
Needs to be more than a.
It needs to bring more. I don't know, remote control helicopters or some shit.
It needs more of a skill factor, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because like, imagine Mirror's Edge. But every jump was completable by just pressing space at it. You don't even have to look in the right way. That's like what the hacking feels like. The whole thing the game's sold upon and built upon is this hacking mechanic. But it's so mundane. Like, maybe in like you could have like an easy mode in which the hacking mechanic stays as a square.
Yeah.
Like some kind of mini game. The mini game doesn't have to be complex. Something like Dead by Daylight's generator fix. Something like that. Like that would tie over more than the couple of hours that it currently has, in my opinion.
Another game I'm looking forward to Ubisoft. Sorry, Nathan. Do you wanna?
I was just gonna finish off to say about like that game is gonna be fun with the right amount of friends, no matter what.
Yeah.
If we got that game and we played it with even maybe another few other uni buddies or something like that,
some viewers.
Yeah. Some Twitch viewers, whatever, like, I think we'd have a blast, mate. I think we'd get way more than 3-4 hours out.
Yeah. Always more the merrier, innit? So...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'll just... I'm going to say another game I'm looking forward to Ubisoft is the Roller Champions. Have you heard of it? It's like a roll... It basically is like a roller skating game crossed with Rocket League. It's like I think it might be like physical combat. So you tackle them to the floor and stuff. You have to score it through hoops.
It's Jet Set Rocket League.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. The game, it looks like the same kind of textures Rocket League's use. Yeah, it does look good. It's a 3v3 match. It's probably the only sports game I'm ever looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm same with that. Like, I don't understand most sports games. Like, if you like sport that much, just go and play the sport.
Yeah.
It's the guy that watches people play video games.
I have the trailer here. If you want to have a quick look at it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Just share your screen. Yeah, this is interesting. I hadn't heard of this one. I like what Rocket League has done though, of opening this door for like weird sport games. Sam, you're not sharing your screen.
I'm showing it on Twitch.
Yeah, but we're 8 seconds behind on Twitch.
Oh, sorry. You told me not to share my screen. You spaz.
Yeah, because you never. I didn't know you were talking about this. Yeah, just share your screen. Yeah, this looks interesting. It has a lot of potential for like mini game modes like horse and stuff like that. Be nice to see.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I love game modes like that.
I wouldn't mind a battle royale mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a no-go zone. That.
Sorry, I messed up there. But yeah, this game it looks quite fun. I think playing us free, I think it would be quite a fun game to play. To be honest.
Yeah, nice free.
Yeah.
I just hope that it differentiates itself from Rocket League.
Yeah. No, I actually love the art style. I love that art style.
Yeah.
Is that demo still? It said there was a demo date there. Is that still going to be going ahead?
The demo date?
That's in 3 days.
Let's have a look. June.
It says play E3 demo, so it might not be.
So play E3 demo on bloody Uplay.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft. You can't expect Ubisoft to be.
Thing is,
oh yeah, true.
It's E3 demo, so it might not be thing. It might not be shown. Looks good.
Yeah. That's a game I probably would get. Hopefully, it won't be expensive. Maybe a free-to-play game. Oh, move that over there.
So I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing Far Cry 6 and are hoping they'll see a new Far Cry game announced. I know I personally could not care. I didn't like Far Cry 1. I didn't like Far Cry 2, 3, or 4.
Oh, well, wait. Can we? Yes, Nevin. I'll just.
Don't like any of them.
Can we pull that back a bit?
Far Cry 6.
Yeah, pull that.
Far Cry, right. 1, 2, and 3.
2.
I would say we're good.
I never played 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Did you ever play Far Cry Predator?
Primal.
Yeah, I think it was Primal. I think they brought it out for 360 called Predator.
They just robbed one of the maps, didn't they?
They did Far Cry 4 as well. Far Cry 4's map was essentially the same as Far Cry 3's.
I'm pretty sure.
Far Cry, my thing was, I never really enjoyed it because I was young when it came out, so I never ended up playing the story that much. And then it's like, the multiplayer, why would I play that multiplayer when I had time splitters?
Yeah, Far Cry.
It's way better.
This is the problem I've got with Ubisoft products right now, is I'm currently not willing to put any money down until they sort their Uplay out. Because I am not, honestly, Uplay is the worst thing I've ever used. It's as bad as Origin, right? They learnt the lesson. They've brought all their games to Steam.
Yeah. I think you need to. I think you might need to play on them through Origins, though. I don't know. I haven't got any of the new Origin games or new EA games.
Yeah, I haven't opened up either one of them 2 applications for a very long time.
That's the problem.
Anyway, can we get back to Far Cry 6?
Yeah, because
we haven't really said anything about it.
Yeah, Far Cry 6.
I'm not interested in it. I know a lot of people will be, but I don't know, it's just not my kind of game.
Yeah, I think the last Far Cry I played was 4, and that doesn't interest me anymore, that game.
Yeah.
We just need a fucking Time Splinters game, or Let's Play this game, I'm not going to lie.
Well, that won't be shown at the Ubisoft conference, I can guarantee you that.
Monkey Island 3, come on, give me some
So, one interesting thing is that if you watch the stream, you can redeem a free PC copy of Watch Dogs 2 if you tune into the stream.
What is that? Is that on Sunday? The
the stream is
the 14th, isn't it?
1 second. I will be able to tell you if IGN would be so kind to put the date of the conference in their thing. It's Sunday.
IGN.
No, is it Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday. This Sunday, 12th.
The 12th of July.
Going to be that guy.
Is it June?
No, it's July. Yeah.
I thought it was June. Quarantine has gotten me crazy.
Yeah, it's times are here 7:30 p.m. Central Eastern Time, Standard Time, and 10:30 a.m. PDT, which is America. Is that?
It's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard.
Yeah.
It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it's 7 p.m. British Standard. So, if you live in the Pacific, I think it's East Coast of America, it's 11.
And we might be able to see some Just Dance 2020 performances.
Moving on to the next point. Nobody cares about Just Dance 2020.
Cringe alert.
What about if they did a Rayman thing? They did like a 1 and 2 remastered, like a bundled in.
Look, they're not gonna make the Rayman that matters, so it doesn't matter. They're only gonna make Rabbids games now.
I
don't know, you know, that's a possibility, that, Nathan.
Nathan, did you say in the last episode, why do developers keep remastering stuff?
No, right.
Just make something new. Why are they so scared?
There's a difference, though, between Rayman, mate, and fucking Crisis 1. What I'm saying to you is, Rayman is a beloved classic that will gain so much money from just nostalgia alone. Crisis 1 will do fuck all because no one gives a fuck about it. That's the difference between them two things.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just us that didn't like the Crisis trailer. It did get a lot.
Yeah, it fucking...
boring. But, I don't know, Rayman would be interesting. I want to see Rayman 4 so much. Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc was my favourite game on the PlayStation 2. And there has not been a single... It says in the intro, I'll see you for Rayman 4. And it's 2020 and there's no Rayman 4.
I didn't think a good game ever came out of your mouth.
It's like you act like I've never mentioned Halo before.
Oh yeah,
speaking of Halo, I think Sam, don't you have some news about Halo?
Yeah, Halo 3 release date, I think. Let me just
Halo release date, because I'm guessing this is MCC PC, of course.
Yeah, just get it up.
Otherwise, Sam's living in 2000
on PC. It was today released today at 10:30 a.m. Halo Twitter account. Halo 3 comes to PC July the 14th.
July the 14th. I will not be playing any games other than Halo 3. You can try to contact me during this time.
Yeah.
That's playing Halo.
That's all. Just the release date. It was released today that it was coming out on July the 14th.
I mean, so far, let's talk about MCC.
It is your the Master Chief Collection.
Guys,
that's the next installment. That's what it is.
25 minutes.
MCC PC's not been very good so far. It's been a very bad PC port. It's missing a lot of features you would expect from a PC release.
I was going to say, Chris, you've played it, haven't you? You've played
I've played it quite a bit. I've completed Halo Reach 1 and 2 and played a lot of the multiplayer for Reach.
I've completed it.
I'm on about the MCC PC specifically.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of issues. Like
what?
The options settings are really, really limited. You can't say your how do I put this? Say you wanted to downscale some of your textures because in certain areas, say you want to put shadows low, you can't. You've got enhanced graphics and classic graphics. Oh, no, enhanced graphics and normal graphics.
What? So it's all set in stone.
Yeah. So there's very little customization in that regard. But the main issue I've had is the controls is so fucked up right now.
What do you mean?
So currently you can't bind. So you can't bind a button twice, which you go, oh, why would you want that? Vehicles. Like, it's so fucked for vehicles. I can't have the button to go into vehicles. I think it's this case. You can't the button
like section and like
no,
an on
the
section.
Banshee bomb, for example, is bound to like a weird button, and you can change it, but it's like you can't bind it to say I don't know, you're using 2 because 2 is default bound to swap grenade. You can't have 2 on a swap grenade and 2 for Banshee bomb, despite the fact you can't swap grenades whilst in the Banshee. So like your controls are really scuffed in that regard. You can't change the graphics during a cutscene. So you can't go between the remastered and the normal graphics in cutscenes.
Well,
which is a shame because I personally prefer playing the game in classic, but then watching the cutscenes in remastered. But I have to remember where the cutscene triggers are. Otherwise, I'm watching classic cutscenes and I can't swap them.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of weird though to do that in the middle of a cutscene though. If they was able to do it.
Sometimes you want to compare like what the original cutscene looked like.
I remember, mate. I was there.
Sometimes there was another point. You can't. They've remastered the audio as well. You can't swap between remastered audio and classic audio in the middle of a game, which is weird because you can't. It's difficult to compare which one you like more.
I don't know. I'd say a lot of that were a bit nitty picky, man.
It's all quality of life stuff. But like the controls is a big issue because like there's so many times it's like I just got into a Banshee and I'm like, how the fuck do I actually use any of the Banshee stuff? Yeah. Because you just can't bind certain buttons twice. You can bind the spacebar to stuff. The spacebar is for dodge rolling, but like you can't bind like right click or something like that. It's like it's really bad in that regard. And there's other issues. The leveling system is horrible. Like you get instead of before where you got credits for playing the game and you spend those credits how you want, you just level up a bar and then you unlock something at the end of that bar and you keep going. And it's so bad because like
how long does it take to get everything?
Quite a while. Ages to get everything. Ages.
Which game? Which game you play? Which Halo is that on?
All of them.
Wait. So you're telling me,
but you
the leveling up from number 2 is the same as Reach?
No. Reach is specific. I think so far. There's different customization for each game.
Alright.
1 second. Let me find MCC.
Because Halo 2.
Like, I've played MCC Reach quite decently. I've got 62 hours in the game in total. I would say about half those hours are online, half those hours are campaign. If you want to try, as an example. Yeah. And I got to like level 20. Everyone has grunt birthday party, so the entire game is just annoying because every time you kill someone, it's a cheer. Every single kill, it just makes SWAT unplayable.
Which is like turn other people's bullshit off because like that should be a thing.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Like mute him.
Like your side.
Yeah. A lot of the map playlists are fucked as well. You can't. You don't have like that old system of pick between 2 maps or veto and re-roll the maps. You just play the map that the game decides.
Really?
A lot of maps are missing, so Cage isn't in the game. So the beloved battle map isn't in the game. When I think Halo Reach, I think of the Cage map, and it's just not there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't as much, but yeah,
it's especially the map vetoing isn't a huge issue, except for the fact is like you can't also your playlists are scuffed as well. So say I wanted to play a game of Slayer, just normal Slayer, I might get a game of Slayer DMRs. And I don't want that.
Yeah,
it gets really bad in Infection because there's alpha zombies in which they run, and then there's another form of zombies in which they have evade, and you can't pick which mode you play. And I personally hate playing evade. And then there's like some maps are horrible and just so poorly made for Infection because they're Halo 1 maps. They were never made for Infection.
Yeah.
And they're there and you can't veto them. You have to play them if the game comes up with them.
Halo 2
so bad to play.
What was that, Nathan?
Halo,
Sorry.
Halo 2 had some really, really good zombie maps, man. Like, you got
But they didn't have zombies. What?
Terminal, Ascension.
We used to make
Halo 3 had.
man, and we used to have like change color when you die, so like you were red or whatever, and then when you turn to a zombie, it turns to green. Like that's how we used to have to do it, man.
Yeah, I know, zombies was made in Halo 2.
Yeah, but it originated in, I believe, maybe 2, because we used to play it as a custom game.
Yeah.
And then they might have just been like, "Oh, this
custom games are another thing that's scuffed right now." They said they said they were going to bring a custom games browser to the game, which sounds great. This is like half a year after release. We still don't have a custom game browser. There are stuff that has been promised to be in the game that isn't in the game yet.
They might be just half-assing it.
Aim assist is broken as well. It's too powerful.
They're probably just working on it Infinite.
So I like this. Hey, we'll move on because this is just turned into bashing Halo MCC. It's fun, but there's a lot of it's a good game that's ported badly.
Yeah.
And they're rushing at getting more games out right now rather than refining what they have already in. Mortal Shell has gone into an open beta, and me and Sam have gotten our hands on it. And I've attempted to play it. However, I like to describe the game as the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. It's just fucking hard. I don't know what else to say. There's no Estus flasks or anything similar, so
you fucking eat fucking mushrooms.
Healing.
Mushrooms.
There's no consistent healing. And it's just I can't progress. I'm stuck in the first area.
Are you guys allowed to speak about it, or is it?
Yeah.
All right.
There's Twitch streams of it and all sorts already.
So, Mortal Shell, I did make it.
It's an open beta.
Yeah, I did make it to the last boss. But I ended up running past the last section because there were just some guys who were big and beefy, extremely fast, and every time I died to them, I'd go so far back that I was getting really fucking pissed off. Decided just to fucking make a bolt for it. So I ran for them.
I think we should talk about some of the game systems. I would like to highlight I think it's the appraisal system, right?
Can we get some video?
Basically, you get like items in the game, and then your shells as well. Basically, you know nothing about what they actually do or anything. No, there's no point bringing a video up because we're not commenting on the video. We're just commenting our experience. But like, so you have your understanding of the use of the item, so you don't actually know what it does until you use it. So my favorite was I was on low HP, got a bottle of I think it was like moonshine or something, and it just killed me. Killed me.
Chris, that happened to me. I was like, oh yeah, moonshine, this will just make me fucking give me a little bit of health. No, it killed me.
Like a drink.
It fucking killed me.
What it does is it lowers you. You take some damage, but you get some renown. I think it is, or is it focus?
No. Basically, you get tar.
Oh, you get tar. Right.
I think you got tar from it, which is like the souls. It's like the souls from Dark Souls, basically.
Right, okay.
So it's as well as like. There's something about. Did you get? I don't know because I haven't gotten anywhere deep into it.
Oh, one sec, Chris. By the way, viewers, Mortal Shell, if you want to get it, it's on Epic Store. Top of the page, it says beta. It's an open beta. Go grab it and try it out.
Oh man, I need to do that also.
There was something about finding your shell's name, right, at some point.
Oh yeah, you have to. It's like
happen in
each each shell has like it's like its own lore, and as you progress further into it's like a skill tree for the shells, and basically what shells are for people who don't know, it's you basically inherit a dead person's body from when they was alive, so it can be like a ninja, and then you could get like a army man kind of guy.
Yeah,
knight.
Like it's not a knight. Yeah, I'm just making examples like the difference, like the difference between.
Now you're getting guns in Mortal Shell now.
But yeah, you basically inherit like these guys' lives, and they have each of them have lore, and they get stronger, and you learn about what they did when they was alive. It's a really good concept. I think it's going to do really well. However, the combat mechanics, like Chris said, it's like the Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
I found it was really, the combat was like, it played really well. It was
very smooth. Very smooth.
It's just the lack of healing objects in the game. Is a real issue. You have
to go on. No, go on, Nathan. Sorry.
Maybe that's the point. Like, I haven't played it, and I know you guys have. You guys have played it, so you've got more hands-on approach to this than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But what if, because there's no more Dark Souls, what if there has to be a game to fill that void, and this is that game that fills that void?
You don't have to worry about game filling the void. There are tons of games coming out of it.
No, but what I'm saying to you, that actually match up with Dark Souls standard, of games, which is AAA. It is, you're going to need that. There's going to be a hole in the market otherwise, and it's just going to get filled up with loads of pixelated bullshit indie games. I think it's good that it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
You just,
I don't like how the healing system works.
Get good
because no, it's purely because there is no way for me to farm healing.
Yeah.
So it's a case of things that you get on the map. They have a
cooldown,
and they come back, and they never come back.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like, do they?
Yeah, like when you pick up, like I picked up a couple of mushrooms. I picked up a poison mushroom, which poison there. I picked up a normal mushroom, and then when you look at where you picked it up, it's got like a dial of that's counting down. I think that'll be when it replenishes.
How does it feel?
Go on.
When you knocked out of your body, does that feel nice? Is that a nice?
Yeah,
it doesn't feel nice.
Well, no,
it's fucking bad.
Yeah.
Does it feel real? Does it feel nice in terms of the animation?
That slow motion is really cool, but I don't know if Sam found it this way as well. I feel like there's something janky about being outside the shell.
Yeah.
Like the game has an ability in the beta that's called Harden. So you press control and then you're immune to damage. I've only had this issue when I've been knocked out the body, but I press control to harden, and then I just die. And I know that you can harden outside the shell because it's not always triggered like that. So I feel like there might be some like input delay or something. When you're outside.
What I got from that, Chris, when I was doing it, is there's a very short time frame where you are vulnerable to getting hit while you're hard, and if you press it too early or too late, it will just go straight through. It's basically
not like I've sat like for 5 seconds hardened and it's just still worked.
No, really.
There's no max timer on it.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to say that you can actually increase the time of how long you can stay hardened. Like
there's a max time to it, but it's not like it's not like you can see that you're hardened, but you will actually.
So did you ever parry anyone with the harden? Because you basically got like a relic that you can parry with, and then you can do like a strong thrust.
I didn't parry with the harden. I did parry though. So parrying works differently in this game.
Yeah.
So you parry someone's attack, and you actually don't get like you don't like get like a critical hit.
Harden.
Okay,
no.
I'm from down south. Fuck off. Alright, but no. So you have a parry mechanic in the game. Fuck off, man. But like, if you got I'm trying to speak. You got a parry mechanic in the game. And so how that works is you press F to parry, you time it right, it's all same as all other games. The interesting thing about it is you don't always get like a critical attack, so you can't just spam parry. You only get a critical attack after you've like gotten a set amount of performances, or you've actually played the game normally enough. So you can't just spam the parry move, which I actually really like, because there are some people like will just get really good at using the parry and will forget how to play the fucking game. This way you can't just abuse it.
Yeah, and you can actually upgrade it as well. Like pretty much what I saw, you can upgrade every kind of little mechanic, your hardening, your parrying. You can make it so your parry space is longer, so you can basically hold it and it will still parry instead of being super timed. Welcome. But yeah, it's a good game, man. Nathan, you need to try it. Viewers, you need to try it.
I definitely like how high the skill gap is on it with stuff like the mechanics, like the hardened mechanic, mixed in with how the dodging works.
Yeah, and
then like getting back into the shell itself is a challenge, which
mate, that's so hard.
Because we didn't talk about it. The way that works is if you get your health reaches 0 the first time, you'll get knocked out the shell.
Yeah,
and then you have to try and get back into your shell. But you're like one hit for whilst you're outside of it. If you fail, you go back and you go recollect your tar, which is souls, same as normal. But it's like you can only get knocked out once. I don't know. There might be like some shells that you can get knocked out multiple times in, and that'll be their gimmick. But from the beta, what I found is you can only get knocked out once, and if you get your health reaches 0 second time, you just die. But I really liked it. We're talking about Mortal Shell.
Yeah, Mortal Shell, the Dark Souls replica, basically. But it's a lot better. The combat system, I would say it's a lot faster than Dark Souls. There's less window of people attacking. Like where on Dark Souls you can kind of see when they're gonna come in. This one, the boss. When I got to the boss, it had a massive window, so you could easily tell when he was coming in to attack. But like the standard enemies, they were. Bob Ross has caught me off guard. The standard enemies, they're quite quick. Especially the big guys are very, very fast. But yeah man.
I know. I
enjoy it.
I liked it. There's a lot of weight behind your weapons in the game.
Yeah.
I do like the shell mechanic, but I just haven't gotten far enough in to see enough. Because I'm a kind of guy that likes to kill everything in the way. And it's clearly not a game set up like that, because I haven't found bonfires in the game yet. And by the sounds of things, there are no bonfires in the game yet.
I got to a woman who, she was like the crypt keeper. She let you upgrade the shells, and she would act as a bonfire. She mentioned bonfires, and she said there is none here, but you can use me as like a recon place. So every time I died, I went back.
Use me as a bonfire.
Use me. Set me alight.
Yeah, that's Mortal Shell. Have we got any more news?
I got a release date for Kingdom of Amalur. It's going to be
Re-Reckoning.
Yeah, the Re-Reckoning. If you all don't know, it was originally released on the 360, I think. Yeah,
I remember that.
And it is a remaster. So it'll be the original. The cost of it, I'm looking forward to it. I did play it quite a lot. It's a very beautiful looking game. Quite nice colours and
RPG.
Yeah.
It's a game I had on the 360 for a long time, and I just never really played. But I really regret, and I do wish I had played it, because it seemed like a lot of fun.
Who's behind it?
Behind Kingdom of Amalur.
Yeah. Is it the same people that obviously made the original, or is it?
THQ.
The original.
So they are the original, I think. Are they?
The original game was made by 3-8 Studios and Big Huge Games.
All right.
Big Huge Game.
I don't know about the remaster.
Yeah, THQ.
Oh wait, the remaster is made by Kaiko and Big Huge Games. THQ are the publisher. Kaiko have previously worked on Red Faction Guerrilla remastered, and Darksiders War Mastered. So they've worked on a couple remasters. So they seem to be working alongside Big Huge Games for this one.
Big Huge Games have made quite a lot of remasters, haven't they?
No, they've made Kingdoms of Amalur and Rise of Nations in the extended edition. That's all they've got on Steam.
Oh.
But yeah, I liked it. It was a nice blend of like magic and swords, and that had a really nice setting.
It was.
Didn't play it that much.
I played quite a lot of it. It reminded me a lot like World of Warcraft, but more of an RPG instead of an MMO. So it was like a smaller scale, more linear World of Warcraft.
Like the I can't remember the name of them. There's loads of them though. Made by Bandai. The anime. Yeah. What's
anime?
They're in the VR.
Oh, you know about Sword Art Online?
Yeah. Does it play like Sword Art Online?
kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that. So you go into like little towns. You go into woods. You'll have to kill like 10 versions of a wolf or something like that. And then there's a good stories and stuff like that.
Like something I would play, definitely.
Yeah, you would enjoy it. You would enjoy it. Yeah, it is a fun little game.
McStruggle says showcase for Series X games on the 23rd, so he is hoping. Well, yeah, he is hoping.
I've actually got insider information. Xbox don't have any games.
Inside info.
They've destroyed Humans and Halo Infinite, and now Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. We won't talk about what else they have. That's all they have. Some shekels are better than no shekels.
You are right, Chris. For once.
Yeah. I have. Have you guys heard of Little Hope, the Dark Pictures?
No.
Let me double check with that because I think I do. No,
What's it
no
called?
fucking.
Little Hope?
Oh wait.
The Dark Pictures, Little Hope. It's a new horror game coming out.
The Man of Medan stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a DLC?
I think it's
no.
It's a standalone. Yeah, it's a standalone, I think.
The Man of Medan series is meant to be like 8 games, and this is the second one.
Right, it's using the same engine then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the trailer because it is a horror game, and
put it on.
Oh man.
yeah, get it on.
Put it on.
All right.
Sam.
Let's have a look.
Go on, Sam. Grow up here.
Grow up here, mate. I'll fucking shit up here.
Sam, it's fucking the people who made Until Dawn. The game's not scary.
It's coming from the town.
Don't forget to turn your stream down if you want.
Did the old fucker just lock us out?
He was weird, that old guy.
Sure was something off about him.
Me neither.
Why come to Creepy Central just to get a top-up?
What does that mean?
So I haven't actually watched this yet, so
you can tell it's made by the people that made Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Little Hope feels like our only
That
option.
style definitely comes across.
I'm not so sure about that.
Can you all see?
Beautiful.
I was never a fan of these kind of games anyway because
but it's to play them in a group, Chris. You know that's the sort of environment you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's to play
Sam
them in
the
a
stream
group,
can't
Chris.
see.
You know that's the sort of environment you need. I can also hear myself.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam the stream can't see what's going on.
I think
Because
we're
I've
going
seen
the
it
right
through
way.
Discord.
Oh, right, okay. One sec.
Yeah, just start the video and then click on the Discord.
Yeah.
Also, this is a 7-minute trailer.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock it on.
But no, it'd be. I didn't like Until Dawn. I didn't like Man of Medan.
I quite liked Until Dawn, to be honest.
The
I'm sorry,
lack of
I didn't scare
gameplay
you,
is
did I?
off-putting for me.
I don't know which is
I
scary.
feel
don't
like
know
I
what
should
you're
watch a
saying.
movie.
This is, or your morbid
Yeah.
interest in it.
It does feel like a movie. You're right.
A lot of people still
And-
really believe
Yeah,
this
in
kind
that
of
case,
stuff.
I'd rather just watch a movie.
Yeah, just watch a
Tonight,
movie, I
might
guess.
join
But
you.
if it's a movie that
Other people
can,
believe all sorts of
sorry, that was me, I
garbage
think.
Doesn't mean I'm about to.
if you can do sort of that environment,
Catch up with the
but
rest.
for
I
a
don't
group
wanna
of
spend
people,
any
let's say
time
5, a
disgusting.
group of friends, you know, you go around to your friend's house, you play that for an hour or two every week or something, you make it a thing. Like, I don't mind it when it's like that,
Yeah.
because there's choice around I know a group of friends that play that game, and there's like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5, and they have a really good experience because they're all connected to one character each. So it kind of becomes personal. You know, it's a good experience if you've got the right people, I guess.
Do you think this possibly could be a co-op game?
Yeah. No, you are right.
It feels like you know, the whole point of the game is like, you know, it's put the effort in for you to have fun, rather than you have to put extra effort in on top of the game.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm fine with a little bit, but like gathering 5 people or so to
What's wrong?
like make a
I just saw
fun
someone.
little to make a game fun.
I can't
Like,
see anyone.
It's
but
just
not
like
you have to
D&D
gather
though, I
in
guess.
real life as well. Yeah, but it's not the
I
same.
definitely saw someone.
Because it's like it's D&D
100%.
without all the things that
Sorry,
make D&D
I don't
fun.
buy it.
I like that they're getting in actual actors again to
Okay. We really
to play characters in games. I do think. Oh, look at that behind. That bitch is hanging. The bitch be tripping.
Oh, man.
Like,
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I do like that we've got that technology now where it does look like the actual actor.
yeah.
It's pretty fascinating, isn't
It's
it?
another game that is
Who's there?
very pretty,
Whoever you
but
are,
this
this
has no
isn't funny at
substance.
all. John, where are you?
There's nothing.
Daniel?
that makes me-
Taylor?
Yeah, well, yeah. I want to play this
Come
game
on,
rather
John,
than
where
see
are you?
someone
This
else
isn't
play it.
funny.
You know, there's no reason for me to buy this. I can see all the game. Like, you guys say it's like, you can't judge a game without playing it. This is one of the games I think we all agree that you don't have to play it to enjoy.
I think
to see
this
what's-
goes. You've got movies, you've got games. This goes in the grey area in between.
This goes in
You
the
know,
David
but-
Cage area of Heavy Rain and.
Oh,
like,
shh.
Two Souls. Can't hear anything.
What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I could play this game, me. Oh,
Watching that back on stream.
Come and check this out.
Yeah.
What on earth is that?
Oh, I could play this game. Oh, fuck.
Sam, how like did you drop your balls somewhere or something? Like, you heard children doing
Nah, it's good that
a
it's good that it's
nursery
dead.
rhythm in the background.
Oh shit!
Oh,
White people, so scary.
oh.
What is your name, sir?
Now, Chris.
God, I would love to see Sam play Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh.
Ah, mate, look, can be polite,
And
can make choices.
and your name, lady?
Who the hell are you? Why are you dressed like that?
I am called Mary. I fashion.
I'm called Mary.
I'm called Mary.
Just like the one that I
At me,
Oh.
and me.
Mate, it brought a tear to my eye, man. I can't hack it.
That's a nice looking fire. I'll give him that.
come play with
Sam,
me.
What witch's trickery
You
is
said you were
this
going to
now,
get Resident
Mary?
Evil 2.
I have done nothing.
Hold your tongue. I see what you truly
Yeah,
are,
Sam.
Mary. Reverend Carver's affection for you will be shaken loose when he learns of your infidelity with the devil.
I don't think he'd get through it, mate.
I don't, mate. I'm on edge. I've got goosebumps.
Sam's going to fall off his chair in a second. Jesus.
Oh, right.
No,
mate.
scary white text. Ooh.
So yeah, that's
That's the summer.
If you
Yeah.
enjoyed Until Dawn and Man of Medan, you'll enjoy Little Hope.
Man of the Mudans.
If you didn't, you probably won't enjoy Little Hope.
Like Chris.
Yeah, I don't like those games because there's no gameplay. There's no game.
what that game?
Yeah.
No, I like people who like fucking horror games.
I like horror games. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 right now. I don't know if you've heard. But,
No, I don't know.
but like, that's just like, it's like a movie. Like, why would I play that rather than just watch it?
Just that face is imprinted into my fucking skull, man. I hate it.
Not gonna sleep tonight
white
now.
people are really scary, Sam, I agree.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's the Dark Pictures Little Hope. I'm probably not going
I'm gonna play that.
Here's a little I'll play that. Maybe if
I'm
I'll
pretty
do it
sure.
on stream. Though.
Nathan, can you get your kids in here? Sam, they might stomach it better than Sam did.
mate, right? Films, horror films. I can watch any horror film ever. But when it comes to games and because I'm getting so more immersed into it, I can't hack it. I can't fucking hack it.
It's good. Man. It's good that you have reactions like that. I just laugh it off. I guess.
Nah, man.
I get scared, and that's part of the thrills, you know.
It makes me crawl. I'm a little shaky.
I'll be honest. I can't play like Five Nights at Freddy's. I can't play.
All
that.
I'm saying is we're definitely playing Outlast Trials now, Sam, and you're definitely going to be there for it.
Oh man,
give your head a rub there. Give your head a rub.
I need to have a smoke.
You're gonna be, oh man, you're gonna enjoy Outlast. I can tell you that now. I enjoyed it.
No.
Outlast is great. Outlast is great. I hadn't played a horror game before Outlast, and I played Outlast, and it was really, really fun, and I completed it all. And fucking come hell or high water, you're playing Outlast Trials, Sam.
Do you want me to shit myself?
Yeah.
Because I fucking will.
Sam, it's all for the content.
all the shit. Right. I think we should have
more games to talk about. So.
No, I think we should have a 5-minute break and then move on to our Generation 2. What do you say?
So yeah, we're gonna have a 5-minute break, and when we get back, we'll be looking at and reviewing the second generation of consoles. We'll be covering the Atari 2600, the Game and Watch, and Sam, which one are you covering again? I've kind of
the Intellivision.
The Intellivision, that's what I forgot his name, because who remembers the Intellivision?
Alright, you guys are.
Hopefully, you guys will after Sam talks about
a lovely northern treat.
Yeah, so we'll be right back in 5 minutes. See you. It's spoken for me, and he said it's a fun
he's
game.
Not here. He's not here, is he?
Watch him disappear now,
right,
Chris.
What don't you like about it, Chris?
The level design is garbage. The art style is nice, but then like the graphics itself is garbage. The controls are garbage. It's just a bad project. It is, man. The levels are so
the guys
boring.
that created it are like Japanese like Capcom staff.
That doesn't make it good by default. I'm sorry. The fucking
1996, like these veterans, man.
We've been over this. Right to Hell
rude,
Retribution was published by the same company that published fucking Metro Exodus. Does this mean Right to Hell Retribution is a good game? No, it doesn't. Right to Hell Retribution is horrible. I fucking guarantee you could look up for any review of that game online. They all will say it's trash. Just because of the names behind it doesn't make it good.
My number 9 is a decent game. If you like, if you like Mega Man,
no, it's just not a decent game, is it?
It's
just garbage. My number 9 is what happens if you take out some garbage and put more garbage on top of it.
Lies.
You've got trash.
Oh mate, it don't look
anyway, we're off topic. I don't know how the Game & Watch got to Mighty number 9. But it's probably Sam's fault. Yeah. So yeah, that's a Game & Watch at the very least. It sold quite a lot to be thingy. It outsold every single Sega console. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there was a Sega console
about at that time though. SG-1000 maybe, something a bit.
No,
earlier.
I mean I'm talking every Sega console, like Master System, Dreamcast, all those.
Oh, in terms of like, oh, okay, I see.
Every Sega console ever has been outsold by the Game & Watch.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, there's a little console that could pave the way for the Game Boy. Which
can't have outsold the Mega Drive. I don't believe that.
We'll do some
no way. There's no way.
It is spanning over 10 years though. If you're saying from 11 years, sorry, if it came out in 80 and the last one was selling in 1991.
The Sega Mega Drive sold 30 million units, which does mean that it sold 10 million units less than the Game & Watch.
Yeah, but do it over the same sort of time period. Is it the same?
So what you're saying is, if we created conditions in which the Sega Mega Drive would have sold more than the Game & Watch, it would have sold more than the Game & Watch.
I don't even know why I'm bitching. I'm a Nintendo fucking fanboy.
Innit?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. If we decided that we wanted to sell more, 10 million more Segas, the Mega Drive would have outsold the Game & Watch. You're right in that, Nathan.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I will. Shall I go on to Intellivision?
Yeah.
Intellivision.
Intel made television.
What a console was that?
My main competitor at the time.
This bad boy. This fucking telephone-looking motherfucker.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I love, right? And they did the same with the Atari 2600, which I'll be talking after. The wood grain. The lovely late 70s wood grain.
Late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it could maybe rot away in due time,
Nah, they were well varnished and that. As long as you aren't playing it outside, it's not going to do all, is it?
Okay, is that an on-off switch? Not even a button.
Oh
right,
yeah,
anyway,
mate.
It's a fucking slider.
Were these
Sorry.
You know the keypads? Did you have to put things in for
Yeah. So there was I think it was maybe B-17 bomber or Commando or something. It was like a piece of plastic and it was like an overlay for the number pad, and it would just not change any mechanics of the game or anything. It would just be telling you which direction your bullet's going to go. So that was they did that for some titles. It came out in 1979 and 1988 was test marketed in 1979. It didn't do very well. In 4 years, they sold just over 3 million units. So you probably know why that was. Probably because the Atari 2600 came out, I think it was the same year, 1980. Or was it 81?
82.
Oh, 82.
For the 2600. But yeah, it was in competition, but I believe the 2600 beat that.
Yeah. It was made by a company called Mattel Electronics, who also made the Nintendo Power Glove. So
also just all lasted for generations.
They also
actually say they made the Virtual Boy.
There was actually two NES written at the time, and you had a Mattel version and I think just a normal NES version from Nintendo, and we actually had two. It was really, really strange. They didn't sell well here at all.
What, the Power Glove?
No, NES.
Oh, NES. The NES, yeah.
Mattel had a big contract, I guess, with Nintendo, and it must have fucked up. And
I think it would have, but it kind of shows. Look at the control, for instance, man. You could literally dial, ring your grandma, and it'd get through.
Those circular discs are the Steam controller.
Yeah, pretty much. Although these control pads do a whole 360-degree spin. That thing, you can spin it like a spinning top. It also acts as a button, which also takes me on to this controller had 17 buttons. This controller had 17 buttons. It had
all 17 fingers I own.
12 buttons on the numerical pad. The controller directional pad acted as a button, as well as a directional pad, and it had four shoulder pads. buttons, which I've seen videos of it, and honest to God, I don't know how people even played this thing when it came out. They brought out a newer version though, which you could actually take the controls out and replace it with an Atari 2600 controller, which would make a lot of games a lot easier to play because it was a joystick and one button. They also had some expansions for this console, which turned the console into a dual processor computer, and it was a keyboard component. You could basically, it would install like a cassette player, kind of like the Commodore 64. You would, there was only, I think it was 6 titles for the keyboard component. These cassettes, I'll tell you the names of them now. There was Conversational French.
Nice.
Spelling Challenge. Family Budgeting.
Oh man, this sounds like it came out old. Like
Geography Challenge.
You've got.
Oh my god.
As a home console back then, there was like the first ones that was going into the home.
Yeah.
Educational, be able to do your taxes. It was a computer at the end of the day, and that's how adults had to see it. Like, to do a bit of both.
It's basically our smartphone of the time.
I remember like when I was growing up, I had like these little like comic book things, but they were like electrical and like there were also games. And this just sounds like it was one of those.
Yeah. One more
in which
cassette,
case it would be fucking hilarious.
One more cassette it had, well, I say one more, it was a series, was Crossword 1, 2, and 3. So it had 3 installments. A crossword game had 3 installments for this console.
How many crosswords were it?
Basically DLC at that point.
Well, yeah.
That's a whole game is just it's just sold, but it's just all it is a crossword. That is DLC. That is prehistoric DLC.
In total, though, in its prime, which was I think from 1980 to 85, sorry. It had a total of 89. 133 titles were released, which isn't that bad, to be honest.
I think that's
for the time is, although some of the titles were like rip-offs of your classical like Frogger, Pong,
probably Donkey Kong at the time.
Tron, Donkey Kong. There was a game called Space Spartans, which was a lot like Commando. Is it Commando?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was...
Or Commander.
Commando, I think it might have been. They also had another expansion, which was like a voice command expansion, and basically you could voice command games to do certain actions. Apparently it didn't work very well. But yeah, for its time, early 80s, it did stuff that a lot of other consoles, home entertainment systems, wasn't doing. So
yeah, it definitely didn't work out for it.
It didn't at all. And
this company didn't learn its lesson with introducing tech too early and decided to go make the Power Glove. Which is like an early VR fucking controller.
Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah. And the release, the price of the console was £199, which today would be £767.83.
Or a PlayStation 3 on release.
Pretty much.
Wow.
So
and people complain about that price.
Back then, to buy it, you must have had to being a businessman.
Yeah. Being a businessman is also acceptable, I guess.
And you could ring your nan and your gran and your granddad.
Your nan and your gran.
Yeah, all at once.
Jesus Christ.
2 phones connected to this console.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, that's the Intellivision.
Sam, how much RAM did the console have?
It was 4K.
Ooh, I'm seeing here 1 kilobyte.
I think it. Oh no, yeah, it was. I think it's one kilobyte for the system, and then I think with the keyboard component, it actually added 3 more. Made it a bit of a. Well, it basically turned it into an organizing home entertainment system. But yeah,
that's what I mean.
It had a 1.7 megahertz clock speed processor.
And that was probably really sick back then.
Well, yeah, but like
for its time, yeah.
Yeah.
The first computer could do like 200 calculations a second or some shit like. Oh no, a minute. And now we've got like fucking thousands and millions.
Yeah, so that was the wooden table.
I'm reading into it. I'm looking at it right now and seeing that the best-selling game on this console was Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack at 2 million copies sold. Also, 2 million copies sold would make it be twice as successful as Skate 1.
Did this do well in Japan?
Probably not.
Because when you say casino games, like, I can't see much of the, like, did the Western world play much casino stuff?
Well,
Like,
considering it was called Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack.
Oh, I guess,
and the second biggest selling game was Major League Baseball.
how does that play?
I don't see this being successful in Japan, especially considering Japan had another console at that time called the Atari. I imagine the Atari was much more successful over there.
Well, yeah. The thing with the Atari, I mean, can I segue onto that?
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yep.
I'll just show you the actual the thing that the Atari 2600. Now, I just want to like show you the design. Like them, right? Basically, what you've got here is like knobs. I want to say that like controlled volume, something else, and like your on off buttons, reset maybe. Like I can't remember, but like when I must have been about 6, maybe 7. My grandma had one of these. My uncle's. She had a load of games, including Pac-Man. She had 2 controllers, and like that was my first experience in gaming, as a whole. And I find it amazing that this came out back in the 70s, late 70s, and it continued on until 1992. Like I find that
successful, mate.
No, I can say that's probably because the controllers aren't aids.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to say. Even though the controllers had one button and it was just a joystick, like that was it. You could only play the simplistic games. Like so, the thing was with the Atari 2600 was it was about using your imagination. It was about having the basic blocks of the game and then putting your imagination into that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll be honest. Let's be honest. Half of these do look like shit. I think even the first the Pac-Man that came out for this, obviously made from the arcade, like it looked like shit, and a lot of games probably did play like shit. But just honestly, if I could afford, they just look amazing, especially the woody ones, the wood grain ones. Like,
mate, I bet there's people who still have that console from when they were younger, and I bet it still works fine. They might have had to buy a new aerial, but mate, them consoles back then, they made them solid. Like you said, it was going for 12 years? No, 10 years? Did you say 82 it came out? And
20 odd year.
Like, that just shows how many units did it sell?
It sold 30 million.
Like,
as of 2004.
And I'd imagine... out of everyone.
Yeah, but like,
it was handheld. It cornered the market for like 20 years.
I don't know how many games came out for this console, but I can tell you one sad thing that happened with this. Unfortunately, the launch of ET crashed. And
So
that
yeah, I think the Atari 2600 was the worst console introduced at this time.
I mean, the fact, right? The problem that was going on at the time was it was really easy to make these sort of simplistic games. It was really put them on a cartridge, so you had every Tom, Dick, and Harry like you do nowadays. These indie, bedroom developers, whatever, kids like us, and they just get flooded, and people just don't want to buy that shit, that crap game that you've put on there. And unfortunately, it was ET that did it, and it all ended up in a landfill.
And that game was
in Mexico.
Nintendo came back and
you tell me Skate was a buggy mess. God damn that game.
I don't think ET was a buggy mess. I think ET was just a mess.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
It did work. It just didn't. You would just not be able to tell it worked because you'd be as bored playing the game as you were before you started playing the game.
Everything blended with everything. Like you couldn't differentiate. Is it differentiate? Is that the word?
Differentiate.
Yeah. You couldn't tell the difference between an enemy or a wall. Everything was just the same. They'd cross over and it'd just be like, you wouldn't even realise there was someone there. It was broke from... It was just half-assed. Like Nathan said, it was just...
I think it was also that
pushed out.
I've researched a lot on Atari, and back when the Atari 2600 was big and they was making them loads of money, they were all hippies. So they were all just smoking. So it's like, I feel like the reason why the industry went down was because Atari was so high up, and then all of a sudden, they're not looking after the company. It's falls down.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was also the ET release. I think the game released around the same time or the year after the release of the film. And everyone knows now. Yeah. Like, even now, like, they rush to get film game out in relation to the actual film. And back then, man, they didn't have the technology to rush a game. And when they rush a game, you get ET.
Yeah.
So it's just...
They pushed it and pushed it. It's like, unfortunate, it was just this one guy, I believe, that was making this game. And of course, it's like, you give this guy, like, I don't know how many months it was, like 2-3 months or something. Like,
try weeks.
Oh, really? There you go.
Games back then, like, were week-long projects. It's just to say, like, they were game jams were essentially true.
You've got like 128 bytes of RAM in that bad boy.
A whole 128 bytes.
Ooh, that's a
lot of bits. It's like a killer bit.
So, like, the introductory price was like $200.
All I'm saying is, this goes to show that better hardware doesn't mean it's better, because this had worse hardware than the Intellivision by far. Intellivision had more RAM. It had a 16-bit processor that had a better clock speed by nearly double. But
that's what I said.
It just doesn't get anywhere near how good the Game & Watch is, boys. Which probably has about 2 bytes of RAM.
You had a fucking Japanese market, man. Fuck you.
No. Yeah. The Atari isn't the Japanese market. The reason why the Game & Watch probably sold more is because, the Atari went on for about as long. However, the Atari had to compete with the NES, the SNES.
Yeah.
And all those. What did the Game & Watch have to compete with? Nothing. And then look what happened the moment that they had to compete with something.
The next one was the 5200, and that failed so hard that I think
even remembers it.
Pushed Atari like under. I'm sure that's the console that did it.
Wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of different things that pushed them under. Maybe themselves were pushing themselves slowly under. Oh no, they did have a successor. They had the 7800, which had a successor of the XEGS, which had a successor of the Jaguar.
Ooh.
And the Jaguar is what put them under.
Oh yeah, that's it.
But we'll be getting to that in the 5th generation.
That awful console.
Less than 250,000 units sold. That's approximately a fourth of the Skate. Nothing to say there, Sam?
Sorry, I was reading.
The best selling game, I'm just going to finish off with like the best selling game. It was the Pac-Man game, which I'm happy about because it was one that I experienced.
Oh yeah, iconic one.
Person. That sold 7 million units.
Oh, 4 skates.
You know, it's quite good. For a game.
I mean, all I'm saying is, Sam, right? Is that skate? Is it going to do better than the Squadrons? Anyway, before we get into that debate, because this podcast has really, really gone on.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh bloody hell.
I'm gonna have to cut this down a bit. But what would you guys rate this generation of consoles? Knowing all we know now about the Intel Vision, the Atari 2600, and the Game and Watch.
I think
For the time,
you should choose mine.
Oh, yeah, we're ranking it on the time. Otherwise, we're just going. Well, the hardware was shit, and the games looked like crap.
I think you had more choice with the 2600. Yeah, it was flooded. The market was flooded, but therefore games were £1. Games were £1.50 rather than being the normal £3-4 that games were in the UK.
I still don't want to spend £1.50 on the fucking video game.
I know that, but for poor families, that was all they had, and I'd rather have them have something than.
It was also equivalent to $839. The console.
bloody hell.
But the generation, it's hard to really rate really old generation of games, because you can say the games were good, but then it's like there are tons and tons and tons of games that weren't good, as you said. But that's also a product of the generation, and then you have games like the Game and Watch, but then it's like the Atari 2600, the Game and Watch went on for years and years and years, so they can't have been that bad. But then it's like you look at it and you look at all the things written down, and you go, how it really is that bad.
I think they was all trying new things, man. Like the technology was already evolving from the 60s to the 70s, and I think they were just trying to push it. Some other the Intellivision, like you said, has better shit hardware than the Atari, but they mustn't have been able to utilize all that power that it had. They were just trying stuff. They were trying to push the limits, So I think
definitely looking at how the best console in numbers was the worst in hardware, and the second best was the second worst in hardware, and the worst was the best in hardware. It clearly meant that either the extra hardware isn't getting used, or the difference is actually so minute it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I remember watching a documentary actually about, I think it were retro games, and apparently back then they had gates in the hardware that would only allow them to do half of what it was that they was able to do.
Don't remember machine coding. You bring me back to a dark place here.
Is that why you had wide eyes then, Chris? Because you caught me off guard.
I remembered my fucking GCSE tests. I fucking had to write down in machine code how to fucking do a basic multiplicative thing. It was so fucking annoying, because we don't ever need to know this. There's no point in which we're going to do fucking machine code in a 16-bit processor.
Yeah.
It was completely just not ready, I would say. Consoles started to get made now, home consoles started to get made, and they just weren't ready. The technology just wasn't there for them to be good. Just evidence showing that it's even with the ability to have a console at home, arcades still reigned supreme during this time.
It was
arcades didn't get phased out till the 90s.
You think, back then it was nearly 1,000. If you're gonna, it was $200 back then, which is about $1,000 now. Let's say. You think that's a lot of money. There's not a lot of people buying the.
100%, man.
And the people that are, they're probably sharing one and then buying the shitty cheap games for like what I said, like I don't know, maybe even games came out for like 69p or something. I don't know, but definitely for the Commodore they did. I know, just the more you bring out, it's cheaper, but you have to just shovel through the whole. And we were at that time as well, Chris. And what you've got to think is magazines. They were paying magazines off to give them a good review.
Yeah.
The game fucking shit. Like they were just paying these magazines off just to say what they wanted.
I actually remember seeing, I think it was, I don't know if I should say it, I'm not going to say it. Anyway, I saw a YouTuber review E.T. and he showed the Nintendo magazine article advertising E.T. and it was like immersive, high-tech graphics, like, and it was basically the shittest game for the Atari.
Technically not wrong.
Well,
High-tech graphics at the time, they were probably high-tech graphics.
Green and Black, the helicopter game, had the same graphics. Yeah, but they were paying magazines to push their shit games out to audiences.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not. I don't think this generation of consoles deserves a high rating. Like, if I'm talking like out of 10, what would you rate this generation of consoles? I would give it a 2.
I'm gonna.
And this is in context with like the actual time period, because you just look at what games were coming out on arcade cabinets at the time, and they're just miles above home consoles.
But the fact that you could play it at home for free forever, regardless if it was there or not, it cost a fortune to go to the arcades.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
The only reason why these games worked were just because they didn't. They only worked because they were the first multi-console or multi-game home consoles, you know.
And the arcade as well pushed them
miles ahead.
They would have helped push the sales of them consoles though, because the kids would have gone to the arcades and be like, "Yo, mum, I want to play Frogger at home." New Atari comes out.
You did have ports.
Frogger was like, that was a game that would be on there, but like Mortal Kombat, that wouldn't have been on there. Gauntlet, that wouldn't have been on there.
Well, yeah.
You know, arcades were very much more capable. It's like the argument of like, PC is just better versions of consoles. Like that is like arcade versus Atari. Then with the arcade just being capable of doing so much more than a thingy. So I don't think it should get a high rating just because like they were worse than the alternative.
I would have said 3 like Nathan.
3, man.
They're saying like 2.75 then.
Is that what they're saying?
It all out.
2.75.
I gave it a 2. You guys gave it a 3, so it's about 2.75.
2.8, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good generation. There was a lot of trash, but it was a very necessary generation. Consoles, we'll say that. It was purely it helped pave the way.
We need to wrap this up.
Getting the wrong things done. Yeah. We need to wrap things up. We've been going for about 2 hours and 50 minutes now, so I'll have to cut this down. But yeah, this has been We Are Error episode 4. This has been Nathan Gillybeard. You can find him at Twitter at Gillybeard_. You have Sam Gustin. You can find him at Twitch at Gustin Games. His Twitter at Gustin Games and his Instagram at Gustin Games. And I've been your host, Christopher Boyce, and you can find me on Twitter at cboyc260. It's been We Are Error. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.